Today is the first snow of the season, and I saw some booktubers that I watch post their end of the year reading tag, and I did this tag last year. I can't believe that it's been a year since I did that one. So I thought, in the spirit of tradition, I would go through the questions and talk about some of my reading plans for the remainder of the year. Question 1, are there any books you've started this year that you still need to finish? Yes, of course. I'll just show you the ones that I have. Okay, I'll start with The Stranger by Albert Camus. I started this the most recently, actually. Sometime last week, I started it. I am 38 pages through it, and this book is very short. It's only 123 pages. So honestly, I plan on finishing this today because I'm borrowing this and I'm not going to have access to it after today. So I really want to finish it. If I don't, then I could get it from the library, but I would rather just finish it from this copy and just like wrap it up. Then there's Mistborn, which I did post a video about a few months ago now. It's been a while. This is a different copy than I had back then because that copy got destroyed. But I went to a used bookstore last week and I found this and the other two in the series, and this like super cool, like, I don't know, just classic fantasy art style. I just love them. And I love mass market size things. So very, very excited to continue with the series. I was reading this in the summer, and when I finally started getting into it and it felt like the story was getting good, my audiobook got returned to Hoopla, and I tried to recheck it out, and then they removed it from the Hoopla library system. At least like my library's Hoopla, like it got removed. And this book is so hard to get on Libby because there's always like a really long wait list. I do think I can get this on Spotify though, because I have like Spotify Premium, and I totally forgot that you could get audiobooks on Spotify Premium. I know I could finish this by the end of the year. It's just a matter of whether I'm prioritizing it or not. These definitely are not like a end of the year goal or anything. Like I don't really plan on reading these before the end of the year. This one I do want to finish. This is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I think it's supposed to be nonfiction. Oh no, it's fiction. This is fiction. For some reason, I always thought of Jack Kerouac as a nonfiction writer. Well, I guess it's fiction. And this is just about him like hitchhiking across America with his friends. It's like a very beatnik sort of novel. I'm just about halfway through it. Page 126 out of like 300? Yeah, 304. And I am liking it. I did take a kind of a big break after something happened because I did think it was nonfiction at that point. The main character did something to somebody else that was kind of really messed up, and I just like had to take a break because I was like, wow, Jack, you're kind of a terrible person. But that makes me feel a little bit better than now that I know it's fiction. Then we have Travels with Charlie. Also, can we just look at my lovely Penguin Moderns? I love finding these used. These are just some of my favorite printings. They always hold up really, really well and have really great cover art. I've been looking for this one for so long because I actually started reading Travels with Charlie probably like in the first third of the year and out of a different copy, and I was looking for this copy, or like there's another cover that's kind of similar, like another photo of him and Charlie on it. Couldn't find it anywhere, kind of just gave up and thought that I would never find like a nice copy, so I bought an uglier one. And then I found this at a used bookstore this past weekend and I was so happy, and it was only $6.50. Look at the colors in that. Anyways, I kind of have a theme slash pattern. This is also a kind of fictionalized but mostly nonfiction. Yeah, this is considered just literature, not fiction. It's an account of John Steinbeck also traveling across America, but with his dog in an RV. I just love a good road trip across America story. Those are like some of my favorite. And this is the last Penguin Modern that I'll show you, but this is East of Eden. I have not picked this up in a while. I'm on page 258. Oh my goodness. I just watched like a vlog that I made in the summer that I never posted, but when I showed this in that vlog, I was on page 258. So I have not picked this up since July, which is pretty sad. It's not the book's fault at all. I really was loving this. I think this is fantastic. I'm halfway through. I just was reading this and then I moved, and in the move, like my reading just like changed a lot. Like I picked up a lot of new books. I stopped reading books that I was in the middle of. So like this is just one of those things. Same thing with Mistborn. Same thing happened here. I was reading both these, then the move happened, and they just got lost. So I really would like to finish both of these before the end of the year, though. And then this one, my fingers are very crossed. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. I'm through all of part 1. I read right till the beginning of part 2, which is page 100. and this is like a 600-page book. This is for my book club that I have with my cousin Hannah. This was our pick back in January. We were supposed to read one book a month, so I guess it's gonna be one book a year. Last year we read Brave New World, so I guess this year, hopefully, if we can finish this before the year ends, Crime and Punishment will have been our 2025 pick. Also, not any fault of the book. This was just like we had a hard time coordinating our phone calls, and then like she was behind and then I was behind, and then now I just haven't picked it up in quite a while. But this reads really quickly. Like, it's a really like fast-paced, gripping book. And if we can like coordinate, we totally could do it. I don't know how this is gonna go, if this could be finished before the end of the year or not. So this is my stack of books to finish before the end of the year. I do believe that this is absolutely possible, though. Question 2. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I guess I'm filming this quite late because it is very much we're in autumn. We're deep in autumn already. And did I read anything autumnal already? I did. I read Something Wicked, This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, which I think I do have somewhere around here. Hold on. It does not look autumnal at all, but it really is. It takes place in October. There's a dark carnival that comes into town. So my friend Angelica got me this for my birthday, along with a bunch of other really awesome books. And I read this one. I finished this actually like a day or two after Halloween. It was quite scary. She said she read this when she was a child. I can't even imagine me reading this as a child. This would have kept me up at night a lot. There is also a Disney movie adaptation of this, which I watched after I finished the book, and I did not really like that. So other than that, I think I said this last year when I made this tag as well, I'm not really a seasonal reader in that I don't care to match the seasons with the books that I'm reading. Like, I'm perfectly okay with reading like a very summery or wintry book in the middle of fall. If anything, I find that a little bit more fun because it's like I'm living in fall and I get to live somewhere totally different when I'm reading my book. Yeah, so that being said, I don't think I'm going to be like seeking out any sort of particularly autumnal book, but I did read one though. So question 3. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? No, I don't think so. The things that I was waiting for to come out this year were Sunrise on the Reaping, Everything is Tuberculosis, Wild and Wrangled. I think Onyx Storm came out this year. I didn't end up reading that. And I didn't end up reading Everything is Tuberculosis either. I was kind of excited for Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I also haven't read yet. But no, nothing for the end of the year. I think that's kind of a slow season for publishing as well. Like, do books really come out during the winter? Unless it's like a holiday themed book. Is there a book you still think could shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I don't even know what my current favorite book of the year is. I'm gonna check my reading journal, which I really have not been like updating all that much this year. I was so on top of it last year. Okay, so these are all the books that I've read this year. All of the books facing outwards that are wider are like my favorites that I've read. So I guess so far the favorites I've had are Iron Gold by Pierce Brown, which is book 4 in the Red Rising series, 9 Stories by J.D. Salinger, which is a collection of short stories, and The Great Gatsby and Tess of the D'Urbervilles. I think there's definitely like something that could come out and like really rock my world. I don't know if it's just because I've read all of these like a really long time ago now, because I did way more reading in the first half of the year than the second half. But even like my favorites from this are not striking me as like something like, oh my goodness. I guess Iron Gold is, but that's like seeing the Red Rising series as a collective. Like, that entire experience of reading the series was like the highlight of my reading year. So I hope that something I read between now and December 31st is like even better than what I've read before. I don't know. I did love Binding 13. That was like such a fantastic experience. Even though I don't have it as a favorite, I just have it like as a regular book down there. Okay, if I have to choose like a prediction of what I think could be my favorite, maybe if I got around to reading the sequel to Binding 13 and I read Keeping 13, that might be super, super fun. That could be great. That... Out of the books I just showed you, I don't think any of those will become my favorite. Maybe East of Eden could in the second half. Maybe. Yeah, I guess my best guess would be if I pick up Keeping 13. That could do it. That could probably do it for me. Have you already started making reading plans for next year? A little bit. Yeah, I would say so. Because I did buy this book also this past weekend, 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And I have heard such great things by like everybody who reads this online who's a booktuber that I think our tastes are really similar. They really, really love this. And I have been putting it off a little bit because I read like the first few pages and I was a little bit confused, but I would like to give it a chance. He literally won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1982. The back compares it to Homer's Odyssey. I don't know, it's just one of those books that is like, I think when people read it, it becomes like their favorite book of all time. So I always find like the green cover copies of these when I'm like out and about. And then I saw this one at a used bookstore last weekend, and this I thought was way better looking than any other cover I've seen of it thus far. Also came with this really cool bookmark, autumnal the autumn leaves books in Ithaca, New York. If you're in Ithaca or ever going to visit, go here. This is like one of the best bookstores I've ever been to. So yeah, I do think this will probably be like a January read. Additionally, I guess my other reading plans, I want to read Marcel Proust, Remembrance of Things Past, Volume 1. So this has Swan's Way and Within a Budding Grove. I think those are the two parts in here. There are 3 volumes of this. These are also gifts from Angelica that she gave me on my birthday, and I'm very, very excited to get into them. I read like the first chapter or 2, and it was very good. It's just a big commitment. Part of me was like, I rewatched one of the videos I filmed earlier this year that was like my 10 reading goals or something like that, and one of my goals was to read a book over 1,000 pages, and this is 1,030 something pages in this copy, and I was like, if I do think I could read this if I read like 20 pages a day and finish this before the end of the year. I don't know if I want to add this commitment to like the already quite large stack of books I have going on, but I don't know, like I would really love to get started with it. I just feel really excited about it. Whether or not I do read this year though, because we're talking about next year reading plans, even if I don't get to it this year, I'd like to read it at least next year. And I have volume 3, which Angelica also gave me. She had given me volume 2 as well, but I lost a lot of wonderful books because during my move, I didn't close a bottle of detergent properly, and it spilled all over like a bunch of books that I had. Volume 2 is one of the Lost Soldiers. I can replace it though. So my hope is that maybe next year I've read through Volume 1 and Volume 2. Maybe if I do Volume 1 this year, I can do Volume 2 next year and Volume 3 the following year. That could be kind of cool. Other than that, next year, I'd like to continue my tradition of reading one Jane Austen novel a year, which is something I adopted from the channel Carolyn Marie Reads, because she also does one Austen novel a year. So last year I read Persuasion. This year I read Northanger Abbey, which I really liked. Next year, I'm thinking Emma or Pride and Prejudice, one of those two. So that's another plan I've got for next year. Maybe Lord of the Rings. I just watched Lord of the Rings for the first time over this last week. I watched all 3 movies and I really didn't like it in the beginning, but now that I'm at the other side of it, like I just loved it. And I really, really want to read the books now. So maybe next year I'll read some Lord of the Rings. And if Pierce Brown releases Red God, of course I'm gonna be all over that, but who knows when that's coming out. So yeah, those are really it. I think that's the end of the questions. Yeah. Please let me know in the comments what you've been reading, if you have any recommendations, or if you want to answer the questions to this tag in the comments. I would also love to read that. And I hope the remainder of your reading year is fantastic. Okay, bye.